is the founder of Envoy Media and podcast host Dr. Phil. And
Jesus Christ. How long has Dr. Phil been bald? How long has this man been rocking the Hulk Hogan? This man been rocking the Hulk Hogan since the 90s. At least 97, 98 when he was back on Oprah. I'm 44 and this man, when I was in high school, this man was bald. Dr. Phil, let it go, fam. It's over. Kill the rest of it. It's not a brand. You're never going to be able to trademark that thing.
he's the host of ESPN's First Take, Stephen A. Smith, and the next president of the United States. No, I'm telling you, it's going to all start up again on Monday. You're going to see.
It is what it is.
It is what it is, and we will see. Okay. Trump says he probably won't run in 2028. It's patently illegal. But he...
Define illegal. Because there was a time when there was a certain country that got pissed off about a Boston Tea Party and didn't go so well for the other country. So, yeah, illegal. It's a matter of interpretation.
Can we take him at his word? No. I mean, I actually don't think he's going to run. I've been saying this, and I see Andrew Sullivan wrote it about it today. He's going to do what Putin did with Medvedev. Medvedev was his, prime minister. They switched jobs, and he was really the president while Putin pretended he wasn't. And that's what Trump is going to do. And Trump can control this country the way he does now through social media. If President Vance or President Rubio doesn't do something he likes, all he has to do is get on Truth Social and tear him a new asshole, and the policy will change.
I don't think it's, listen, he can do that. He can choose to do it that way. But the fact is, his popularity is so exponentially higher than everybody else within the Republican Party that the level of control, like you said, he can sit up there and step away, but he wants to maintain control over the party. He wants to.
That's what a lot of people don't understand about intelligence. A lot of people think intelligence is simply just remembering and regurgitating a bunch of words that you read in a book or being able to do math really well. Intelligence is being able to use something to your benefit to make it work out and grow in your favor. If you could take a situation of any kind and make it work out in your favor, in my opinion, that's intelligence. Trump took social media and skyrocketed his status amongst the public. Regardless if you talk about him in such of a way that's good or bad, he is using social media to his benefit. To me, that's intelligence.
To make sure that there are people out there doing his bidding, that of his family, that of his interest, whatever that may be. And there is nobody within the GOP that can stop him.
No.
Nobody.
Is it? Is it going to be Marco Rubio? No. Is it going to be J.D. Vance? No.
No, they're already in.
Is it going to be Lindsey Graham? No. Nobody's going to stop him. They're going to capitulate and go right along because he knows how to feed the beast himself. He's about quid pro quo. So he...
Thank you. Can we please stop acting as if this country and all other countries don't run on quid pro quos? I don't understand why we treat it like the devil's juice in all these different companies and corporations, and they make you take all these classes about quid pro quo and why it's such a negative thing. Everything we do is on quid pro quo. Most of the people that have reached their social status, I'm sorry, if you think they did it on merit alone, you're sadly mistaken.
He's one of those guys that if you do for him, he'll make sure to try to take care of you as well. They know that, which is why they capitulate to his every whim.
Could be a family member.
That's right. I just brought up Don Jr.
Yeah, he could be a family member.
Nah, I don't think he trusts his own kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I saw what happened with Omarosa. I'm not falling for that one again. I don't care if you are my son. Get out of here.
I don't. That's the way fathers like that are. They just are. Dr. Phil, what do you think of more people turning to AI for therapy instead of seeking out licensed professionals?
Here we go.
I think it's really dangerous, but I think, look, less than half of the counties in the United States even have a
Translation. He thinks it's some BS.
psychiatric nurse or some kind of resource. And, for some elementary sort of things, and giving people fundamental advice for anxiety or depression, it can probably do some good. There could probably be some value in it, but it is really a dangerous thing. And I've argued with it. You were saying it always tells you what you want to hear, but I asked a question the other day. I said, tell me what you know about trigger warnings, which are complete bullshit. And it gave me all of this left-leaning stuff about trigger warnings, about how they help with this and help with that. And I said, well, I argued with it. I said, wait a minute. How can you completely leave out all of the empirical data that says they don't work, they create anxiety themselves, that you should instead do things like systematic desensitization, immersion therapy, things of that nature? And it came back and said, oh, you're right, I'm sorry, here's that research.
I think he's right. The AI of the current time as it stands, it's only as good as the query and the information that is given. So if it's a poor query that's been given in the inquiry of the question itself, I think you will return negative results to yourself to the point where you can download information into yourself and it'll be the incorrect information, but you'll assume it's right because there's no empirical evidence that you have used to verify on your own, and you're simply just trusting what the AI tells you. So he's right on this one.
Here's that data, and it gave me all of that. So it will give you biased answers. It will give you what it thinks you want to hear. And there have been lawyers that relied on it to brief a case, and it totally made up cases, and they got fined by the court and referred for malpractice to the bar because they relied on AI, and it totally fabricated stuff.
Hey, can you imagine if you're in there and you're facing life and you don't know your lawyer, just chat GPT'd your whole defense the night before? He comes in, he's like, yeah, Your Honor. And Arnold V. Schwarzenegger, it says, you're like, wait, what? And then the judge looks up above his glasses. He's like, what you just say? You sitting in his seat, you just melted. You know you about to get life. Your boys who just came to support you, to hope that you get off for probation at best, they start getting up out the room. They like, yeah, man, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna holler at you, man. I'll send you something on the books once a year, man. Let me know how it turned out. You over there looking at your lawyer like, man, go with the public defender, they said. Yeah, I should have knew I was gonna lose. This dude walked in here without a tie and he got some Rockports on. I should have knew I was out the game. Oh man, this is where we are in life. Oh, imagine the doctor. He chat GPT's your whole surgery. You wake up, they're like, yeah, we know your spleen used to be right there, but we had to put your liver there instead because ChatGPT felt it was the best mathematic formulation. Oh man.
So we can't completely rely on this at this point. It may find the needle in the haystack, but you've got to check the needle it finds. It can save you the hunt, but you got to check it. We're not there yet.
Here's the thing for me that scares the living hell out of me. So if you're talking to a phone, you talk chat GPT, whatever it is, or whatever AI component you want to think of, and you're talking to that stuff, and that's what you're relying upon. It's less human interaction. as a human being, it sort of isolates you, serves to isolate you a little bit more. And those are usually the crazy ass people that we end up seeing in this world. People that were home alone, detached from society and its norms, et cetera, creating their own kind of normal, and it's usually working to the detriment of our society. That kind of stuff just scares me.
It's fucked up. The whole thing is fucked up.
Yeah.
You're both being too gentle on it. I read today, Google's AI has a depression problem.
Hey, man, it's stressful out here. Google AI is like, man, I don't know how much more I can take. Hey, what you want me to say? I think Stephen is partially right and partially wrong in his statement that he just made. I think we as humans, we have this natural affinity to automate our lives from just constant new inventions to make our lives much more easier to the point where we make ourselves irrelevant. So I understand what he means. We have allowed automation to become our gift and our curse as a human race. Automation is something that ever since we've set foot on this earth as a human species, we have always tried to find the better way to make our lives easy. There was a time where automation was being designed where it only worked where human intervention was involved. I think once the whole robotics race took off, that's when we started to make automation more of a sincerity than the actual involvement of the human condition or the human race. I think what Stephen is saying has some merit because social media has pushed us to the point where now, if you want to get to know someone, you can do it in the comfort of your home in your slippers. You don't even have to brush your teeth or take a shower. And you can basically have a virtual date online if you so choose. So what happens is now, instead of putting your best foot forward when you go out on a date per se, now you do it and create the presentation on places such as Instagram or Facebook and social media. And then it divides what is the real perception and depth of what human connection is and what it's designed to be. So he has a point on that.
It says I'm a failure. It gets down on itself. Also, people, this is really bad. People turn to AI now, to the chatbot, for an opinion. Somebody the other day asked it, what's Bill Maher's best stand-up special? It picked wrong.
Let him know, Bill. Let him know, Bill. Put him in check, Bill. Let him know.
Don't go to it for an opinion. And I know why it did.
Because?
It picked us because it's programmed by left-wingers. That's the truth. Most of it is. It picked one from 2005. This is before the left had gone off the deep end. This is George Bush was president. Obama was about to run. There was nothing very much to make fun of on the left. They hadn't gone crazy yet. Woke hadn't happened yet. All that excess stuff,
He's right, because at this point, I was still a Democrat at that point. He's definitely right.
Gen Z crazy stuff, none of that. So most of my criticism was against the Republicans. Most of it still is, by the way.
They wouldn't portray you that way, which is ridiculous.
Okay, but also it was 2005. We were 10 years away from gay marriage. The end of that special was all about championing that we need gay marriage. The chatbot was like, oh, this is the great stuff. It's not my best special. That would be the last one. And the one before that, and the one before that. They get better every time. It wasn't 2000.
In case you're wondering, Bill is an extremely humble guy.
So it's very dangerous, I think, to ever think that this thing has an opinion that you should go by.
I also think it's...
I don't think it's an opinion we should go by for right now. But what I do think as it becomes more of a normal thing, because as much as I don't like to use ageism as an excuse, people such as Bill Maher, myself, Stephen A. that's on the panel with him, Dr. Phil that's on the panel, over time, we're going to be phased out. We'll be the dinosaurs. We'll be archaic. A lot of our opinions will just be us howling in the wind. We'll become those guys where we start saying, back in my day, because, I mean, to a certain degree, Bill is doing it here. But once the new generation, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, the ones that are likely going to be raised on AI, it's going to be a foreign concept to even trust your own judgment. As scary as that sounds, I'm just telling you, that's where we're headed.
Dangerous to the left because of what you just said.
Yeah.
Because it's created by them, and it's the kind of thing people like yourself and others may notice. And as a result, we see the level of manipulation that is kicked in, and it gets us very alarmed because you can't point to the right and say they're doing this, they're engaging in manipulation and what have you, when you're doing it yourself. You come across as a claiming hypocrite.
Whoever programmed it, I mean, Elon, the one on X, it thinks Hitler's a good guy.
Oh, I forgot about that. Mecha Hitler. Yeah, I remember that. Man, that was a day. That was a tough day at the office for Elon. I remember that. Woo. I mean, X was on fire that day. I think Elon took a half a day that day.
It recommends his way of doing it.
And the problem is it can't read the room.
Yeah.
It can't, if it's talking to somebody that is giving signals, and there are signals that indicate somebody is short-term.
Right.
There's short-term thinking to someone that's suicidal. There are
I
signs.
think he's
there are
saying
cues.
AI
It can't pick
aims to
those things
please,
up,
and it can't
will
detect
miss those red
emotional
flags
sensibilities.
that somebody that was even remotely competent would see and start referring them to help, start getting them to call 911 or do things they need to do. It doesn't pick those things up.
Right.
It sails right past. So there's danger, not only with what it says, but what it doesn't say.
He's right.
What it
He's
doesn't
right.
hear, what it doesn't see, and that's a danger.
We're pro-human. All right, Dr. Phil. Texas will now require that public school classrooms display the Ten Commandments. Is that a violation of the separation of church and state?
Oh, here we go. Brace for impact, ladies and gentlemen. I think we're going deep.
Well, I mean, do we even have to ask? I mean, what do you think about that?
Well, look, I think having something available for kids to see is one thing, and
But it's a terrible list. It's a stupid list.
well,
It's not the 10 worst things you could ever do. It's a bullshit list.
it's not it's not a competition about the 10 worst things you could do.
But
Do
if
you
a
have a
kid,
problem with any of the 10?
yeah, they're stupid. The first 4 are all about God's ego. You know, don't pray to other gods, don't have a statue of another god.
Is Bill atheist? I don't know. Is he atheist? If someone knows, can you tell me in the comment section if he's atheist?
Slavery is not on the list, but coveting thy neighbor's ass is on the list. You know,
I get what he's saying. He's saying why in the 10 Commandments isn't certain things that are much more evil than this considered a no-go in the 10 Commandments. Adults involving themselves with children back then was not seen as a foreign concept. If anything, it was done more out of a social status to gain social standing. So if you go back to the Tudor dynasty of England, it was not uncommon to have a 15, 14, 13-year-old married off to an adult man. It was acceptable back then, not now. So it wouldn't have likely had a reason to be included as a 10 Commandment because it was not seen as something that was grotesque or out of line or not of the social norm. Because at that time, social norms were just simply different. They were.
it's a dumb list. There's only 2 things on it that are laws: don't steal and don't kill. We couldn't have figured that out without the Bible. It's a dumb
But
list.
it's good to have it in there. I mean, it's not a bad thing to say thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal.
I know, but if
what I'm
you have a list, but if a kid is 7 years old and very impressionable, and you know this is the list of the 10 worst things you can do, and you've buried those 2 amid this other bullshit and left out slavery and all these other.
I get what Bill Maher is saying, and I'm not going to say that incest was a universally practiced type of social norm throughout history. I do know it was a way for pharaohs to maintain power in Egypt at a given time in history, albeit not a commandment. In the Bible, in Leviticus chapter 18, verses 7 through 18, it does cover the acts of incest and why it should not take place or act as a social norm in one's religious and social life.
Things that is not a smart thing to do for an impressionable child who's trying to learn
Well,
what is
you
right.
say all this other bullshit, that may be other bullshit to you, but if you have somebody that's worshiping their phone and worshiping all of these things that people have generated, and that is happening with young people. We have the highest depression and anxiety among our young people since records have started being kept. And you think
That is a
all...
long way around to defend what you're talking about.
No, it's not. No, Bill is being disingenuous on this one. He's being dismissive. No, I'm not. He knows what Dr. Phil is saying. He knows it. Dr. Phil did not go around the corner to give his provided example by way of comparison to the commandment of thou shalt not have any other God before me. Bill knows exactly what he's talking about. Albeit Dr. Phil used the cell phone analogy, he's using it in a relative sense because most people in modern day, they relate to the cell phone. They know what it is. You can barely go anywhere outside and not see a cell phone at least 14 times in a given hour. I know exactly what Dr. Phil is trying to say. I know where he's going with this. He's basically saying that people are treating their phones like God. So he's saying that Bill Maher is being dismissive to those who have the religious belief that you shouldn't have any God before him. Bill Maher is making the argument that people shouldn't be so much of an ideologue and a prude. I get the two conflicting personalities here of what they're both trying to say. But Dr. Phil, he's dismissing him. Bill knows exactly what he's saying. He's saying people worship phones as if it's their God. And Bill is trying to sit there because at first Bill presented a gotcha and then Dr. Phil did a double Uno reverse and he was like, oh, I don't like that. So I'm just going to dismiss you and say, oh, you're going all around the corner trying to make your point. No. Bill, you know what he's doing.
All right. We went all the way to cell phones to say the 10 Commandments in the classroom.
You're the one who said worship no other God. There are people that are worshiping phones. They are worshiping other things. It's not a long way around.
Absolutely.
Great job, Dr. Phil. You didn't let him get off the hook. Good job. You brought it in and you tucked it in right at the end. You didn't let him get off the hook and weasel his way out of that. The comparison of should the 10 Commandments be re-indoctrinated into the schools, specifically in Texas, I believe that is a state matter and a state choice. I also believe if you are not of that religious faith, you should have the right or the practice to not attend that school or attend another school of your own personal choice and belief. You may not like it, but the fact of the matter is America is a Christian grounded nation. And when you have other religions that are seemingly superseding and taking over what was known to be as an Anglo-Saxon Christian based nation, people are going to start going to the extreme. And the fact that they want to vote and these in Texas want to indoctrinate and have the schools place the 10 Commandments as part of the learning doctrine back in its schools, they have been pushed to this level. People don't want to accept that, but it is a true reality. When people start to feel as if they're becoming the minority when they was once the majority, they are going to go down swinging.
True, but
Yeah,
I don't know what it
is.
has to
Thank
do
you.
with this. Okay. That's not really on the same. Okay. A crypto
Yes, it
group
is.
has taken credit for the wave of dildo. Oh, yes.
We're going there. I should have pre-watched this first. Yep. I should have pre-watched this first. F it, here we go.
Dildo throwing at WNBA games. They're throwing green sex toys.
It's green. Ew, get it away. Get that kryptonite away from me. Who bought that? Right. Courtside, huh? You getting the visual courtside, huh?
On the court. Is this just edgy marketing, or does it reflect a sexist attitude towards women's sports? What is the point?
Combination of both.
Is your problem that they're green or that they're just showing?
Dr. Phil is petty. Dr. Phil's entire life is petty. How did that go? They was like, get that away. It's green. Not over here. Don't bring it over here. No, not mine. Ew. Hey, I bet you some of the NBA, the WNBA players is like, is that mine? Did I leave that in my bag? Did they find mine? Hey. I tried to let it go past, but once they said it was green, it's kryptonite. It's kryptonite.
Well, I don't think you should. No. Why are we? No, I don't. I saw it on the news. I didn't understand what the point of it was. Like, if this is your great.
Really, Bill? You don't know what the point of it was, Bill? Really? When you just said early in the video that Stephen A. and Dr. Phil was being too nice, and you said it was effing BS. Now you got a question mark. You don't get the symbolism. Okay. All right. Let's. Okay.
Burn, your sick burn. I don't even get it.
Well,
Is it saying we don't respect women's sports? Is it?
they're heckling them, no question.
Why?
You bring up the dildo stuff. You know, there's a lot of, you know, there's a belief by some folks out there that a variety of members of the WNBA are members of the LGBTQ community, and so when you throw that stuff out there, you're sort of maligning them and chiding them in that regard, basically alluding to what you think they should need and all this. I've heard people say this kind of stuff.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you for keeping it real on the panel. Thank you for not BSing. Stephen, you knew exactly what the deal was. And Bill is feigning stupidity by being coy as if he doesn't get what the symbolism is of the green dildo being thrown on the court. Like, what are we talking about here? Let's be honest here. For any of you that have ever watched the WNBA, name 5 women that you were like, yo, I would definitely like to take her out on a date as a guy. Most of the women in the WNBA, not all of them, come across as extremely masculine. It's almost impossible to play in the WNBA and not have a masculine effect to you. A lot of them do practice the LGBTQ lifestyle. That's just a fact. A lot of them are very open with it. When you have people like Brittany Griner being a poster child, come on. Come on. It happens in the NBA, but it's nowhere near as prominent in the NBA. Nowhere near it. Come on, let's stop with the bias. Let's stop with the bias. We know that is something we think of when it comes to the WNBA. A lot of them are masculine with braids in their hair, or they might dress feminine. Everything they do, from the way they talk, is masculine. Just because you wear a dress does not make you feminine.
Don't look at me like I think it, because I don't. I'm just telling you, these are the kind of things that people have texted and you know, or do comments out there. But you got some sick-ass people out
There's
here.
so many sick-ass
You
people.
might want to leave
It's
with that.
really, and they invent ways to heckle
right.
and malign folks. It just shows some people's definition of happiness is bringing you and lowering you to the level of misery that they live in every day.
Yeah.
That's why they are who they are.
Right.
And they're usually hiding.
Yeah, so true.
But think about it. Somebody had to go stop and buy that.
Yes.
And then come.
I will say this.
Why is Dr. Phil doing this to me? He won't let me get through this segment. I was trying my best not to respond to this part of the segment. I said I knew where it was. I knew where this was going. I knew it, and he won't let me get through it. He refuses.
I've seen people buy worse things.
Yeah.
I have seen people buy worse things. Yes, I have.
I mean, you got on your jersey and you're stopping and buying them.
Yes.
How do you explain that when you're going in there?
It bothers me that it's green. I'm just going to be honest with you. Okay, no, okay, one last story. I don't even know why did it have to be green? All right. Speaking of green, the Trump administration is announcing, I cannot make the news up. They're going to build a nuclear reactor on the moon. Your thoughts about the nuclear reactor on the moon?
Well, I'd rather have it there than in my neighborhood.
I just thought of this. When that nuclear reactor is built on the moon, I guarantee you we're going to have a bunch of soy boy environmentalists with man buns who wears open-toe sandals everywhere or just no shoes because they want to be one with the earth. They're going to go to the moon and they're going to go in front of that nuclear reactor and they're going to have a cell phone holding up their protest signs and having the feed sent back down to earth. I guarantee you. Clip it. Give it time. As human beings, we are an endless sea of stupidity when it comes to certain things. After the ozone has already had the hole, now we want to protest about the hole is there. It's not like you could take duct tape and fix it. It's a done deal. The hole is there. The ozone has been broken. We're there. Okay. All right.
I think a lot could go wrong up there.
All right.
Invent new ways to spend money.
Good luck with the campaign, gentlemen.
Hey guys, like, share, comment, subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one.